Monsieur Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bësal mu fine.
What?
Bësal mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave acts in Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Bësal mu fine. Wave, your money is yours.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Alagie.
Empathy is defined as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Empathy is a critical human trait because it allows us to imagine what other people may be going through. And for anyone to be an effective leader, you must have empathy, not just for the people that surround or support you, but for everyone that you lead. One value that was second nature to all candidates in the leadership schools I attended was that during meal times, the leadership of the class always ate last. The leaders had to make sure everyone had food before they took any. Sadly, in our government system, those in government leadership eat first and pass the leftovers to others. They take as much as they can before thinking about their subordinates or the people they serve. The desire for more and more outweighs whatever empathy those in leadership have for the suffering masses. And it is the desire for more and more that is the bedrock of the corruption in every single government office in the Gambia. Since we call ourselves Muslims, perhaps sharing a verse from the Quran that talks about Islam's greatest leader and his empathy may register with our leadership. I take a quote from Surah Al-Tawbah. There certainly has come to you a messenger from among yourselves. He is concerned by your suffering, anxious for your well-being, and gracious and merciful to the believers. All leaders at any level must ask themselves whether they are truly concerned by the suffering and well-being of Gambians first and foremost, or are more concerned by their own well-being first and foremost. That the leaders should eat last was not written anywhere in the leadership schools I attended, but it was the norm and it was a given. The idea was that as a leader, you would be expected to take care of all those you lead before thinking about yourself. As a leader, you will struggle to take care of those you lead if you cannot understand or empathize with their situation. If you are in leadership, can you look at the life you live and compare it to the lives of those who sweep your office? I know all lives cannot be equal, but does your conscience allow you to live in abundance while your cleaner lives in destitution and pain? Even though empathy may come natural to some people, it can also be taught. Taking care of those you lead is a core principle of leadership. And again, you cannot take care of people you lead when you don't have any empathy or compassion for them. The opposite of empathy is indifference. Indifference is when you do not concern yourself with the situation or suffering of others. You may have heard that Liberia's new president slashed his salary by 40%. 40%. His predecessor had done similar in slashing his salary by 25%. A former Mexican president did similar. And if you care to search on the internet, you will come across many leaders who choose to reduce their salaries for one reason or another. The overriding theme in all these salary reductions is empathy for the people they lead. When was the last time anyone in leadership in the Gambia said to the citizens of the Gambia, I feel your pain and suffering, And I am choosing to empathize with you by not living 100 times better than the average citizen. When have you heard any Gambian in any leadership, from your parliament to the judiciary to the executive, say something like that? Since we are celebrating Eid, let me end with prayers for our dear motherland by borrowing from some beautiful prayers. May empathy lead the eyes of our leadership to look out for others. May empathy lead the ears of our leadership to listen to the tired voices of the masses. May empathy lead the minds of our leadership to think of the suffering and struggling Gambians. May empathy lead the hearts of our leadership to feel for struggling and suffering Gambians. My second prayer is inspired by Frederick Donaldson and his 7 social sins, which are wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, worship without sacrifice, politics without principle. I pray that someday our dear motherland will produce enough sons and daughters who stay away from the 7 social sins. I pray for our beloved nation to be spared from people who desire wealth but don't want to work for it. May our dear nation be spared from those of us who seek pleasure without conscience. May the Gambia be blessed with citizens with knowledge and character. May the Gambia be spared from greedy businessmen who have no morality and who take at will. May our Gambian scientists never lose their humanity. May those of us who worship understand what it means to sacrifice. And lastly, someday, may we be blessed with politicians who have principles. I pray that empathy guides our relationships.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam si Wave.
Yo, Alagie, yo, luta do dede. Luta mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Kan lay waxal?
Bësal mu fay.
What?
Bësal mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Bësal mu fine. Wave. Your money is yours.